Alrighty guys and gals, I certainly hope you do enjoy this presentation on dew point. Now the first question I get, and let's get right into it, people ask, what is dew point? Well, quite simply, dew point is a temperature. In fact, dew point is a temperature where 100% humidity occurs. And just so we all know, 100% humidity is cloud. So, you want to go flying tomorrow, and you are wondering what the height of the clouds will be. Darn good question. You just have to find out what the dew point temperature is for the time you want to go flying. Then you need to find out what height that temperature is sitting at. How do you do this? I hear you. How do you do this? I'm glad you asked. Okay, the first thing you're going to need is the ground temperature, and in this case, if we're flying at 12 o'clock tomorrow, we're going to take a look at that time period, and I see it's 9 degrees. Now that you've got your ground temperature, the next thing we're going to focus on is the dew point, and we can see that here it is at -6 degrees Celsius. And there's one more point here I want to share with you, is that we have a relative humidity at 33%, so hang on to that. Alrighty, before we get into this, I want you to take away the idea that temperature and pressure have a direct relationship. When you lower the pressure, you are also lowering the temperature. It's a direct relationship with getting to the dew point based on your relative humidity at ground level. When we bring a bubble of air from the ground upward, the air bubble is enlarging, the pressure is lowering, and so is the temperature. The other thing that is happening is that the humidity is increasing with height. Alright, in this next diagram you can see on the ground we've got our 33% humidity, and as the air bubble is going up, it's expanding as it's rising. The humidity is also growing. You can see 60, 80, and at 100% humidity is the beginning of the cloud. Okay, on a previous slide we got these numbers from AccuWeather, and in this case for our example we have 9 degrees on the ground and we've got a dew point of -6 degrees. Alrighty, now we need one more piece of valuable information to make this whole equation come together. We need the lapse rate. If you have not already, now is the time to go and take notes on my lapse rate video. Alright, now that you've got what you need for this example, let's say that the lapse rate for the day is 2. It is cooling at 2 degrees per 1,000 feet for this example. Alright, keeping the lapse rate of 2 degrees Celsius in mind, there are two main methods to find out the height of dew point. Now with the first method, you take your ground temperature, take away the dew point if it is a plus temperature, and then you would divide it by the lapse rate. But in this case we see we have a minus temperature. Okay, so here is your equation for the minus temperature dew point. Take your ground temperature, you add the dew point, we add it if it's a minus temperature, and then we divide it by the lapse rate. We want the full distance between the ground and the dew point. Okay, so here it is. 9 on the ground plus 6, which is your dew point, equals 15. That 15 divided by 2, 2 is your lapse rate, which gives you, in this case, 7.5. You then take that 7.5, move the decimal over 3 places, and you end up with 7,500 feet for your dew point height. Alright, exciting. This next one we see a plus temperature for our dew point. So it's ground temperature, take away the dew point, if it's a plus temperature, divided by the lapse rate. Okay, let's run this one together. You've got your ground temperature of 20, take away 8, which is your dew point, equals 12. And then you divide it by 2, which is your lapse rate for the day, equals 6. This gives you a dew point height of 6,000 feet. Okay, for the next day, let's say that your lapse rate for this next day is a 2.3. Alrighty, for this next example, we have a 24 degree temperature on the ground. Our dew point is 11 degrees Celsius, and our humidity is at 45%. So what I want you to take away here on this one is, think about this. You got 24 degrees Celsius, and that's 45% humidity. How many degrees does it have to cool before it becomes 100% humidity at 11 degrees Celsius? Well, there it is right in the equation. 24 take away 11 is 13. And then in this case, we're going to divide it by 2.3, which is our lapse rate for this day. Ends up being 5.652. You simply move the decimal point over 3 places to the right, and you get 5,652 feet. Another question I get, what if there is a thermal, but there's no cloud? What's going on there? All right, let's say that the dew point is 5 degrees Celsius, and that temperature is calculated by you to show up at 7,500 feet. Now, let's say that you've calculated the height of your thermal to go up to 5,000 feet, as it's a 2.5 today. Okay, so you'll get that information on my lapse rate video as well. And there it is. There is your thermal leaving the ground going up to 5,000 feet, having been a 2.5 day that you've calculated. Quite simply, the thermal may be strong, but it is not reaching the height where the dew point temperature is at. Therefore, a cloud is not formed. This is called a blue thermal. Guys, can we change that thermal to blue, please? Yeah, that's much better. Thank you. All right, another question you may have. Why is cloud sometimes so low to the ground? And many times below launch height, stopping us from launching? That's a darn good question. It is because the dew point temperature is very close to the ground temperature. And in this case, the dew point temperature of 12 degrees Celsius is very close to the ground temperature of 13. Now, did you know that the dew point temperature stays pretty close to the same temperature throughout the day? Of course, there are variations of this, but this next part will give you a healthy understanding as to what is going on with variable dew point locations causing variable heights of cloud base. Another question you may be asking, now that I understand that dew point is pretty much a constant temperature throughout the day, if so, why does the cloud height change over time? It's because this is where the dew point temperature is. The dew point temperature in the morning was at a lower height than as to where it is in the afternoon. It's the entire environment that is warming. Okay guys, method 2 of finding the height of cloud base or the height of dew point. Here we go. Okay guys, here's the 3 questions. What is your ground temperature? What's your dew point temperature? And what is your lapse rate? These are the 3 things you're going to need to know. And let's get started. Okay, you've got a ground temperature of 15 degrees, you've got a lapse rate of 2.6, and your dew point is at 2 degrees Celsius. Alrighty, well you can always do this next bit on your cell phone calculator. It's just another method to memorize. So this is much like method 1, it's just that in this one you're going to be climbing up in thousands of feet until you find your dew point. Okay, so we start with 15 degrees on the ground, we take away 2.6, which is our lapse rate, and we end up with 12.4 degrees at 1,000 feet. So from this point forward, you can just keep clicking your equals button, and as you are, you're counting up in thousands until you get up towards your dew point. Once you've reached your dew point, you realize how many thousands of feet you've had to count, and you can count on that being pretty darn close to where cloud height will be for this moment that you have calculated. Alrighty, so in this case, your dew point is sitting around 5,000 feet, but by all means, use whatever method works best for you. Let me know in the comments section how it turned out in regards to your calculation, and I look forward to reading that. Alrighty, go ahead and enjoy the other videos on this channel, and by all means, like and subscribe, and I'll see you on here again.